You're watching College Football Now. I'm Harrison Graham. He is James Yoder. Let's get into the top 25 recruiting classes as we're pretty much at the end of National Signing Day here. Let's get into it. At number 25, we've got the Mississippi State Rebels. James, lots of SEC teams per usual in the top 25 here.
Yeah, so
Bulldogs, whatever. Ole Miss, Bulldogs, it's all the same.
Man, well, surprising. They haven't necessarily had the most success in the field the last couple years, but they've still got kind of the new coach bump in a lot of ways, and their offensive coordinator, their head coach, Joe Moorhead, he's really spurned a lot of the offensive explosion elsewhere in college football. Clearly, Penn State's still doing okay. Saquon Barkley and what happened there was under Moorhead. But Penn State's doing still fine themselves. Joe Brady, where did he learn his offensive chops? He was at Penn State, then he went to the Saints for a year or two. Now he's at LSU. Michigan also with another Moorhead disciple on Josh Gaddis's OC. They look good at the end of the year. So not surprising Moorhead can convince people we are going to run an offense that gets people excited.
Apologize to Bulldog fans there. Georgia Tech, number 24, Jeff Collins, as they transition from the triple option to the spread. He's got 6 4-stars coming in for a pretty good class. Another SEC team here, the Kentucky Wildcats. Mark Stoops doing lots of great things in Lexington. I've been impressed with what he's been able to do the last couple of years.
Absolutely. I think surprisingly he stuck around. I thought maybe he'd go for a different job, go to Kentucky, go to one of the other SEC jobs that were available.
So, guys, want you to shout out your favorite team. Let us know who your favorite team is. We know a lot of SEC fans out there. We just talked about Kentucky. A lot of y'all are gearing up for the college football player. Got a Hook 'em Horns coming in from Raw Fusion. Sharper focus, go Tigers. I don't know, Clemson, LSU, Auburn. That could be a lot of folks. I don't see the EAUX, so I'm going to assume
I like this guy,
it's
Mailman
LSU.
Mike, because the Patriots said if you don't cheat, you don't really want to win if you're not cheating.
Patriots
Going back
have
to that
never
last
gotten
question.
punished. I'm just saying. Will Carter, Gig'em, got some A&M fans in there. Missouri, Michigan, go
Alberto Madrigal, make sure to subscribe to my channel at youtube.com/Michigan TV. Make it happen, baby, if you're following the Wolverines. Shout out your team. Got another Go Blue in there from Namid Ahmad. We got a Foles, some Tender Jones.
Good day for Tennessee.
Mississippi Tigers from Missouri Tigers from Football Mania. Alabama, go Dogs. A lot of questions. Keep them flowing in. Let's see who's repping the most in today's comment section.
Next up, got the Stanford Cardinal. Kind of a unique situation for David Charr right now. I think they've got, 12, 14 players in the transfer portal right now. Luckily, has another good recruiting class coming in. We'll see how that all plays out with all those recruits. That roster might be a little less for 2020. Florida State, one of the big movers of the day, wore the Florida State Seminoles. Mike Norvell moving on from Memphis to take that job, decided not to coach in the bowl game, which good move because you got to get on the recruiting trail fast. He's reeled in the 21st ranked recruiting class.
This is still surprising, though, for me, Florida State, because even though they had a coaching transition, even though things started to fall apart, it's still Florida State, and they had the new coach bump in a lot of ways with what's his name, Willie Taggart, still being in his second year. So surprised that they weren't able to get a little better recruiting class, even though they had a coach leave the program. I thought it was surprising that Willie didn't leave a good enough class that they could have held on to some more players.
The Willie Taggart experiment did not go well. Best of luck to him at FAU. Speaking of Florida State, we know you guys are watching. Florida State fans, you want some sick gear? Look at that hoodie. Chatsports.com/NCAA gear. And we know all fans of all teams are watching. We got you covered with sweet deals, gear up to 50% off. Got to get some late
How about
Christmas
this bad
presents.
boy right here, the Trevor Lawrence. No, you can't say Trevor Lawrence jersey.
No.
Number 16 jersey. I'm not sure what it means, honoring their 2016 National Championship. Chatsports.com/NCAA gear. The jerseys, Harrison, right now, only $75. That's $25 off the normal price. And if you choose the option for shipping on December 24th, you'll get it in time for Christmas. So go get hooked up. Every team you want. We saw all the Kentucky, Michigan, Ohio State, Georgia, LSU fans. NCAA, chatsports.com/NCAA gear. Discounted gear this holiday season.
Tons of different items for you guys. Up to 50% off. The Nebraska Cornhuskers, they were another big mover today. They get into the top 20. We were kind of debating with associate producer Brett Scott.
Assistant to the associate producer.
Of course. I don't know who wants to go to Nebraska anymore, but Scott Frost, after a couple of 5 and 7 seasons, maybe in year 3, starts to turn it around.
It's interesting about Nebraska is that It is cold as hell. There's nothing to do. I'm not sure what the co-eds look like there, but it's still Nebraska, and they got their white whale coach. I'm surprised that he has not been able to do better more in the field, but 20 recruiting class isn't bad given that the results have been underwhelming.
See, I disagree. I think the whole it's still Nebraska thing, it's not 1990 anymore. I think the glory days are over. Number 19, North Carolina, Mack Brown, great to have him back in college football. The one thing he was always able to do was recruit well, except for quarterbacks during the end of his Texas tenure. He's got a 5-star in this year's class. Turned a 2-win team into a 6-win team this year. They seem to be on the up and up. And there's opportunity in the ACC outside of Clemson right now to kind of make a move.
I mean, you think about Mack Brown in the mid to late 90s. He had some great success at North Carolina. There was a weekend, you may be too young to remember it, Harrison, in October of 1997. They called it Judgment Day. Number 1 versus number 4, Florida State, North Carolina. I think it was like 2-3, Michigan, Penn State. Big-time game. Mack Brown, the coach of North Carolina back then. Can he return them to glory? We shall see.
The Oregon Ducks coming in at number 18. They fluctuated a lot today, but they get their big guy, Justin Flo, the number 4 rated commit in this year's class. 5-star linebacker, number 4 overall player, top linebacker in the country. Kind of helped salvage after losing a couple of players early on today.
And this is not the first time in the last couple of years. They had a top 5, top 10 player last year in the defensive side, add 2 5-star linebackers this year for Oregon. So they were right on the cusp this year. They had a bad loss down the stretch to Arizona State. Arizona State. They kept them out of playing really in a position in the Pac-12 title game to maybe go into the playoffs. So maybe they take a step back with their quarterback, Justin Herbert, going to the pros, but potentially this guy, Justin Flo, some other players can propel them back to the top of the Pac-12 as a playoff team. Number 17, Miami Hurricanes. What do you think about the class that they pulled in there? Our guy Mitch Renz earlier said, how can the U not be good at football? And with the amount of talent, if you've seen the documentaries out there, the state of Miami that kind of encompasses the southern part of that state, you get 45 4-star players or higher every single year, yet you're at the 17 class. I'm not sure what to make of Miami.
I'm not sold on Manny Diaz as a head coach. He failed at Texas as a defensive coordinator. That kind of just gave him the job after Mark Richt resigned a couple of years ago. We'll see how that all plays out. Number 16, South Carolina. They almost pushed for a top 15 class. Will Muschamp on the hot seat entering 2020 in a lot of people's minds. They bring in their big recruit, Jordan Burch, the number 5 player in the class.
I mean, this is probably the biggest signing of the day, right, as far as the number 5 player in the country. Obviously, Flo as well. But those are two players that can make a difference. If you remember South Carolina when Steve Spurrier was there, they got their 5-star. They got Jadeveon Clowney. They got the running back whose name escaped me at the moment. They get 5-star players in the state. And he went to 11-win seasons, 2 or 3 straight seasons. Opportunities out there for South Carolina, Will Muschamp, to turn things around. Guys, we're just getting producers on our ear right now. Hold on one second, Harrison. All right.
Lots of background noise here.
We got to ask you guys a favor. We are very close to 147,000 subscribers. Harrison and I pushed for this show. Some people in the studio didn't want to even do it. They said, college football, they want to do NFL shows today. So we were told, if we don't get to 147,000 subscribers, we need just over 150, which is less than the amount of people who are watching right now. We were just told, or else. I don't know what that means. Are we going to be able to show up here tomorrow?
Is it the last show ever?
The last show ever. So just do us a favor. If you like this show, if you like college football, if you like sports, and it's free on YouTube, hit the subscribe button. It's literally right below the video. If you're on mobile, just press it. If you are on your computer, take your mouse over there, hit that red subscribe button. No harm, no foul. You'll get awesome content from us, and we will not have to face the downside of that or else. So get us there. We'll keep you updated throughout the show. Harrison, take us inside the top 15.
Yeah, clock is ticking for you guys. The Tennessee Volunteers, number 15. Jeremy Pruitt, a weird year in Knoxville as they lost to Georgia State early in the season. They rally to 7-5. They rally in recruiting as well, pull in a top 15 class. Number 14, the Washington Huskies. Curious to see what the future of this program looks like as Chris Peterson moves on after the bowl game.
Sure, and they've got a big game starting next year against Michigan, start of the year. Yep. Will Jacob Eason go pro? I don't think that's been announced yet as far as I've seen. So Washington has the opportunity, along with Oregon, to I think USC is still in flux on the way with their coaching situation, so they have the opportunity to put together top-level Pac-12 teams over the next few years. Number 14 class, that's about where you'd expect Washington. I don't know if I could ever see them getting much higher than that.
Number 13, it's the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Brian Kelly, we all know about his shenanigans.
Yeah.
They bring in the number 13 ranked recruiting class. Keep it rolling here. Number 12, Penn State, James Franklin. A theme for me, because there's going to be another Big Ten school we'll get to in just a sec. Hint, hint, Mr. Yoder here, big expert on them. They just can't close the gap on Ohio State, who we're going to get to later on in the show. It's Ohio State's always in the top 5, and then big gap to the kind of the second-tier Big Ten schools.
Yeah, and James Franklin has done well. His record against the big three and the other three in the Big East is not good. Michigan, Ohio State, Michigan State. But got 2 of those 3 wins this year. They've got a lot of talent coming back next year. They've got one of the best sophomore, Micah Parsons, one of the best players on defense return to college football next year. Hopefully for them, this number 12 class can get them over the hump with Ohio State.
That means the Michigan Wolverines, another Big Ten school trying to bridge the gap with Ohio State. You guys know about that. We've harped about it. James over here, he's covering you guys on all things Michigan football. YouTube.com/Michigan TV had his recruiting info earlier today. Tell the folks a little bit about this class.
I would call it recruiting extravaganza, Harrison. YouTube.com/Michigan TV live for 75 minutes. This is not a class that's going to beat Ohio State, but what it does have is a lot more athletic players than Michigan probably has on their entire roster. They're bringing in smaller, faster players at the safety position, corner position, running back, wide receiver, some more mobile linemen where they have a big miss in this class, though. No quarterback, right? No quarterback. Got a 5-star junior committed, but with their quarterback commit, J.D. Johnson, retiring from football for medical reasons, they weren't able to snag anybody last minute. C.J. Stroud, the top 100 player, committed to Ohio State today, signed with them over Michigan and some other schools.
I'll be curious to see if Michigan is active on the transfer market for a quarterback with uncertainty with Dylan McCaffrey and Joe Milton. Question for you guys: will Michigan win a national title under Jim Harbaugh? I think at this point you'd have to lean no, but certainly things can change.
What are you talking about, Harrison? They've won 4 straight offseason national titles.
Always.
The headline national titles, Michigan wins almost every year with their trips and their camps and all that different stuff. But I'm going to go with no, to be frank. Even if they get past the Ohio State hurdle, I don't necessarily see Jim Harbaugh being able to beat Ohio State, then a Big Ten championship game, then Clemson and Oklahoma in back-to-back weeks in a 4-week stretch. I just don't think what I've seen with talent-wise in a number 11 class, number 12 class, he's not putting enough talent in there to compete with the big boys in college football.
And the first step is you got to get to the college football playoff. And if you guys want to bet on the college football playoffs, go do it at BetDSI. Chatsports.com/bet is the link. We'll get it in the comments for y'all. CFB 120. This is the game everyone wants to watch. We'll show the other one in just a second. Clemson 2.5-point favorites, over under 63. Clemson, Ohio State in the Fiesta Bowl. If you want to go bet, go use that promo code today.
Yeah, we'll have it up on screen for you in a second. 2.5-point favorites for Clemson, which I think is a big-time knock for Ohio State. I mean, they've been the best team in the country all year, in my opinion. But what's interesting about this one, assistant to the associate producer, Alicia, Clemson hasn't even sold out their allotment of tickets for this game yet. You can buy tickets for face value to this one because Clemson's just not showing up. Maybe they're just a little bit like, we'll get it for the national title game, but 2.5-point favorites. The other game, the one that is not necessarily as close on paper, LSU 2-touchdown favorites over Oklahoma. Oklahoma suspended a few players today.
LSU may be without their running back. This line could be in flux for you guys. This is as of about 30 minutes ago, so keep an eye on this one. But if you want to bet on it, chatsports.com/bet, CFB 120, get that 120% deposit today. And to build off that, who's going to win the national title? LSU, Oklahoma, Clemson, Ohio State?
I'm going to go with Clemson. I really am. I'm not going to go off that. I just think they've been there before. Yeah. The talent on offense is still there. Travis Etienne, a great wide receiving core. Obviously, Trevor Lawrence. Over the last 5 or 6 games, if you would have restarted the season, you could have made an argument that he could have been a Heisman Trophy finalist or even potentially the winner.
Sure.
So answer in the comments. I want to know from you guys, the wonderful, the absolutely marvelous viewing audience, the folks who went in and already liked this video, subscribed to the channel. We didn't like the video, Harrison, but you guys did. Subscribe to the channel and comment. Who is going to win this matchup? LSU, or the national title, LSU, Oklahoma, Clemson, or Ohio State? And if you feel strongly about it, go put where your money, where your mouth is. BetDSI is our sportsbook partner. Use that promo code CFB120. What does that mean? 120% deposit bonus at chatsports.com/bet. Drops you right on the sign-up page. You make sure you get that promo code in. You make your first deposit, 120% deposit bonus. Put some money on bowl games. Bowl games start here in a few days, right, Harrison? Put 20 bucks
of them.
on every bowl game. You will have a lot more fun than sitting around grandma's house on the couch playing Parcheesi this holiday season. Let's take it inside the top 10, Harrison. What do you know about Oklahoma?
Yeah, Oklahoma is interesting. 7 through 11 kind of moved around a lot today. Oklahoma lands at number 10 as we sit right now. 20 players in this class for Lincoln Riley. 13 4-stars, no 5-stars in this year's class, so lots of 4-stars, more of a kind of a B+, very similar to Michigan's class in a lot of ways. A lot of 4-stars, no 5-stars. They come in at number 10. Their rivals, the Texas Longhorns, right in front of them. They were behind them most of the day. They jump late in the day. They're at number 9 is Texas. TCU was able to steal a 4-star late in the process from them, a receiver, but Tom Herman, not a ton of players, 16 players committed, has a 5-star, including running back Bijan Johnson, who many say is finally going to be that elite running back for Texas that they've been searching for it seems like, 10 years now? I mean, they haven't had a big-time running back since maybe Jamal Charles. Yeah, and a 5-star running back at that. And the top 2 running backs in the country out of the state of Texas, I don't see them getting the top one who's going to commit. His name Zach Evans, who will commit. Probably LSU.
At one of the All-Star games right after the first of the year. But they got Bijan Robinson. You need that kind of talent on the offensive side of the ball. 3 players inside the top 100 for Texas. 4 inside the top 106. So a decent class for them, not the classes that Mac Brown got back in the day. All
right, keep it rolling. Top 25 recruiting classes as we roll along on our National Signing Day coverage. The Florida Gators, lots of SEC schools coming up, James.
Yep.
Gators, Dan Mullen. I loved that hire when they did it. I like it even more now. I think Florida is, if you think about traditional college football playoff teams since the era has started, I think Florida is as close to breaking through out of the teams on the outside looking in. I think they're closing that gap.
This was a surprising year for me. They came off that bowl win over Michigan, and they kept it rolling this year.
Lost their quarterback and actually upgraded.
An upgrade, yeah. Felipe Franks is now in the transfer portal. Number 8 class is going to let them compete with LSU, with Alabama, with Georgia for the top of the SEC in the years to come.
Another team with a lot of talent, Auburn. Bo Nix grew up this year as a freshman, got the big win over Alabama. Lots of talent coming in, including a 5-star running back for Gus Malzahn and the Tigers. I think Auburn, SEC West is going to be really interesting over the next several years with Alabama, LSU, and Auburn, and we'll see if Jimbo Fisher and Texas A&M can get anything. Also added a 4-star athlete today, Jeremiah Peggs. Number 7 over number 2, is that right? Yeah, number 7 overall athlete. Can't read. Eyes are going away for me. They add this kid late in the process, gets them to the number 7 recruiting class in the country. Next up, Texas A&M. I just mentioned Jimbo. 2020 feels like a big year down in College Station. You gave him $75 million guaranteed. He's had a couple of good recruiting classes here now. Many believe Haynes King, the quarterback in this class, 4-star player, is the guy that Jimbo's been looking for because Kellen Mond was not his recruit. I think 2020 is important for him. They got to take that next step.
And when I look at Texas A&M recruiting class, they are doing very good at getting some of the best players in Texas. They're out recruiting their in-state counterparts, the Texas Longhorns, and they're getting Highland skill position players. So I like what I'm seeing. Obviously, Jimbo Fisher can win at the highest level. He's one of the few coaches out there with a national championship in college football. But to get Demond Dennis, 5-star wide receiver, big-time pickup for them. But I want to ask you this question to the audience. I'll let our Big 12 resident expert, Harrison Graham, to my left, answer this question at all. Who will make the college football playoff first? Type UT in the comments. If it's Texas, the Longhorns, and Tom Herman, type A&M. Guys, producer feedback, I don't think we should put things like the ampersand sign in the comments. I don't think most
users
know where the hell that is. So
I might have built that.
Yeah, type A if you want to do A&M or AM. You could leave out the symbol. We can figure it out. Go ahead and type in the comment. Before we move on, Harrison, let me know what you think.
Yeah, the analytics folks taking care of that. I'm going to lean Texas, not because I necessarily think they have a better team right now or moving forward. I think it's pretty even there. Yeah. I just think the Big 12 is an easier path. Oklahoma is the obstacle. SEC, Alabama, Auburn, East, you got Georgia, Florida. I just think it's too tough. And speaking of Georgia, they're coming up next year. The Georgia Bulldogs, number 5 class, 16 players, 2 5-stars, 12 4-stars. Kirby Smart, lots of folks, for whatever reason, they're like, oh, Smart's the next Mark Richt. I think he's done a hell of a job. He's kind of a panic move from Nick Saban away, putting in Tua from winning a national title.
Yeah.
He's done great. Yeah, they've lost a couple of SEC titles in a row, but I think they're very, very close.
People want to make bad comments toward Kirby Smart, but he is a game away from being in the CFP 3 straight years, right? Obviously, he was in it in 2017.
And a play away from winning it.
Yeah, last 2 years he could have been had he won the SEC title game. LSU is our number 4 class, Harrison. That means they've dropped today. Now, they did not pick up. They lost a 5-star wide receiver, and they gained a couple 4 stars in the top 100. Lost their 2 best receivers in this recruiting class, so they dropped a little bit. End up with 2 5-stars in this cycle. What do you know about what do you like about the LSU recruiting class?
Well, what I was going to say first is make sure you guys are subscribed, because our man Carter is going to break down this entire class for you guys. It'll be up on the channel later on today, so youtube.com/chatsportstv. But what I know is, like you said, lost a couple of high-end talent. Maryland flipped a 5-star receiver from them, but still very good class, number 4 class in the country. It's been the year of Coach O, it feels like, the year of LSU. Another good class coming.
Keep an eye out for Eric Gilbert, a top 10 player who's a tight end, who's a top 10 player. They also might get Zach Evans, the number 1 running back in the country, when he commits in about 2.5 weeks. Guys, if you're an LSU fan, if you're a college football fan, if you just want to hook somebody up with a gift for Christmas who's a college football fan, make sure to check out our gear partner, our swag partner at chatsports.com/NCA gear. Got all kinds of shirts, sweatshirts, hats, jerseys, up to 50% off. This LSU zip up, this Ohio State Buckeyes Nike hoodie. If you're going to one of the games at Ohio State Clemson, make sure you're rocking some team gear. Chatsports.com/NCAA gear, up to 50% off. The link will be in the live chat. If you're watching this later on, it'll be below in the comments section. Ohio State fans might like that sweatshirt. They're really going to like this, Harrison. The number 3 recruiting class for Ryan Day, his first full recruiting class after a little bit of a disappointing transition class last season outside the top 10, outside the top 5, where they've really lived over the past few years.
Yeah, I think there was a little question, how will Ryan Day take over? Well, on the field, obviously, one of the best Ohio State teams ever up to this point. Recruiting, getting it done as well. Like you said last year, not a great class, number 12 or 13 is what it ended up being. But anytime you switch coaches, it's kind of difficult, especially with this earlier signing day now. 26 players, 14 4-stars, couple of 5-stars, including the quarterback C.J. Stroud, the 4-star who they add today. A couple of teams were in the mix. The Buckeyes, many believe, is where he would go, and that's ultimately where he chose to play.
You know, in Jim Harbaugh's first year at Michigan, there's some chatter, some look-back chatter that, Urban Meyer offered Joe Burrow a scholarship only because he may have chose Michigan, because Harbaugh came in that year, his first half recruiting class, and gave it to him. Now there's some word that maybe C.J. Stroud, the second Ohio State quarterback commit, maybe it was to keep him away from Michigan. Michigan, no quarterback commits. Ohio State's class, 4 receivers ranked in the top 100 players in the country coming into this class. But Alabama is our number 2 class, Harrison. 3 5-stars, 18 4-stars. Just an absurdly deep class. They made a move in the past few days. A week or 2 ago, they were number 3. I saw them drop to number 4 here and there over the past month. They finished the early signing period. Still a few players out there that could change this. They finished the number 2 class in America. Nothing new for Nick Saban.
Yeah, and, I think there's a lot of chatter of, and you've been leading this charge in some ways, is have we seen the best of Nick Saban? How much longer is he going to coach the Alabama Crimson Tide? I like Bryce Young, the quarterback. Keep an eye on him. He's going to be a fun player to watch, the number 6 overall player in the country.
One question on Bryce Young. I'm just going to throw this out there. He should be expected, a top 10 player overall in the country, number 2 quarterback, number 1 quarterback, depending on what you think. He should be expected to start from day 1 next year.
I think he'll at least compete, assuming Tua does go pro. We'll wait and see wait and see how that plays out, which brings us to our number 1 team, the Clemson Tigers, top recruiting class in 2020. As we sit right now, again, a few more players will sign over the next weeks and couple of months. 23 commits, 6 5-stars, 11 4-stars, one of the best recruiting classes in recent memory, one of the best ever on paper at least.
Yeah, Brian Breesy, the number 1 player in the country, goes to Clemson out of the state of Maryland. They also pulled in the number 1 pro-style quarterback in the country. If you want to pronounce his name, I know you tried it last week, DJ
Uiagalelei.
Uiagalelei.
I'm excited to see national broadcasters when they're doing play-by-play try and say, Uiagalelei dropping back to pass. That'll be interesting to see. But they also they flipped Malcolm Green. This solidified the number 1 class, and they were able to reel him in, flip him from LSU. But 6 5-stars, Put them on the screen for you guys. Breesy, you just talked about, number 3 player as well, the defensive end, Miles Murphy, DJ Uiagalelei. I think he sits out next year, maybe redshirts, and then takes over for Trevor Lawrence in 2021.
Do you remember Jared Lorenzen from Kentucky?
How could I forget?
DJ Uiagalelei, I mean, he is 6'5", 250 as a senior in high school. How big is he going to be by the time he's 24 years old? Holy cow. I hope he's just a thick beast of a man, but I've never seen a quarterback 6'5", 250 like that.
It's like Cardell Jones at Ohio State. Next 3 5-stars here, DeMarcus Bowman, DeMonte Capehart. And yes, that's how he spells DeMarcus. I'm not an idiot who can't spell. That's how he spells it. Don't get mad at me. Fred Davis, the second last 5-star in this class. 6 5-stars. Next closest was a couple of teams with 3 5-stars. Clearly, Clemson had the top class this year.